All right, Ty, Moana 2. What were your expectations heading into this fantastic film?
About as close to zero expectations as one can get. Confession, I have never seen Moana 1. It's one of those that missed my radar back when it came out, and I haven't had the motivation to rewatch. During this week, I had the Harry Potter gauntlet, and I chose that instead. So I didn't know what to expect. I figured it would be about Frozen 2, a, a shitty sequel to a
Hmm.
great original. And I sat through it. I wanted to fall asleep a lot. My entire crowd was pretty quiet for the most part, except for a screaming baby. But it was weird. The movie ended and it got a round of applause. And one lady in the back literally said, "There's no way they're clapping." And that was about my reaction. This movie isn't too great.
Yeah, I can't believe you haven't seen Moana 1. I have that. Yeah, I was gonna ask you if it's a top five Disney princess movie, but it's at my six, I think. I have, in no particular order, Princess and the Frog, Tangled, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Mulan, and Pocahontas as my five, and then Moana's at my six, which is obviously like one of the more recent entries. I thought it was very good, but this one is probably towards the bottom five, closer than the top. Do you think seeing Moana 2 was better since you haven't seen the original or no?
Probably, honestly, because I've only heard nothing but great things about the first one. So I feel like the only way that this could be tainted or disgusting would be if I had seen the first one and realized how much it poops on the original. Like if I had seen Gladiator 2 without the context of Gladiator, I would have thought it was a really fun time, but because I had seen the original, I was poking at all the things that it did poorly that like I guess kind of pooped on the original. So it probably did enhance it a little bit.
I don't even know if this necessarily poops on the original, but I would say that it is nearly exactly the same, about as close to the same movie as you can get with a sequel. Which I want to ask you, like, what what are some other sequels that are just so obviously like the original?
Well, I mean, for starters, though, I don't think that's necessarily a problem. It's not the fact that a movie is exactly like its predecessor. It's if it's exactly like its predecessor and no one was asking for it. Like, I can think of great sequels that are just like the original. You've got Back to the Future, parts two and three, pretty much the
Mm,
exact same movies. Every Scream movie ever basically has the same premise. Evil Dead is a remake of Evil Dead with a bigger budget. And then The Force Awakens is a carbon copy of A New Hope, but we both liked it when it came out. I think this formula works. It's just, it only works if the fans want it.
that's fair. I took that question in a much different direction, and I thought of sequels like Moana 2 that the fans didn't ask for. I had Ant-Man and the Wasp. Um,
Oh my
Inside
God.
Out 2, I think, is a good example of one that is the same exact thing as the original, but it enhances it a little bit. And lastly, Halloween 2018 is the same movie as Halloween H2O, and you can't convince me otherwise.
And when you watch those, is it a frustrating watch because it's so similar?
It is because I think to myself, why am I not just watching the first one? Like, why? What's the point here? And with Inside Out 2, I guess specifically, I think that there is a preference. Like, I would probably rather watch Inside Out 2, but I wish that Inside Out 2 existed and Inside Out 1 didn't because it's so similar to each other. If that makes any
Understood.
sense. Yeah.
No, it totally does. But like I really enjoyed 2018, Halloween 2018. I know that you did too. So like is that another case where you wish it didn't exist?
I kind of do. And that's just because I saw Halloween 2018 before I saw H2O for the first time. Since watching H2O, I have probably watched H2O four times to Halloween 2018's like once.
Fair enough. Yeah, I totally get it. Like I would imagine Moana 2 is in this realm of people not only wanting it not to exist, but after watching it won't remember what happened. Like we were supposed to talk about this movie yesterday, and I woke up this morning and forgot all five, six, maybe seven bullet points I had. Like this movie's insanely forgettable.
It is. I mean, I watched it and wrote the plot outline 2 hours later, and I was already having trouble writing the outline, which, funny enough, did happen to me last week with Gladiator 2 as well. And then a couple of days later, I had a couple more ideas come in. But I mean, I just feel like this is a pretty big nothing burger. There's not really anything to be learned from this movie that isn't taught already in the first one. And it felt kind of lazily put together. Like this felt like a movie that a boardroom made and not like an actual artist or writer or anything like that. Would you agree with that?
Say that again. That it was what?
It felt like it was made by like a boardroom of people. Like this felt like it was like a Disney meeting where they sat down and they were like, ah, yeah, let's make Moana 2. These five things happen. Stick someone on it.
Totally. Extremely manufactured, and I can even look at it from a business lens too. Like exactly what you're talking about. Like, hey, this is what worked with Moana. We're gonna do it again, but we need to maximize profit. So I think we can skim it in the music department. Worst mistake they made not bringing back Lin Manuel Miranda, the guy from Hamilton. He's not here for the second one, and I think that hurt it drastically. But I can already picture the meeting with Disney of saying no dice.
Are you a Lin Manuel fan?
You're not,
Oh my god.
dude. You don't know how to have any fun.
This guy forgot about Scuttlebutt. Holy shit.
You don't like Hamilton?
I don't know.
Oh my gosh, this guy's unbelievable sometimes.
Dude, I
It's the
hate the
best part of
sound.
Moana. It is. The music
You
is the
haven't
best part.
seen Moana.
But that's the only thing people talk about.
I don't know, man. I think you're missing out on more here. I don't think that the absence of Lin Manuel Miranda is the downfall of Moana 2.
Fair enough, Mr. No Fun. I can't believe you don't like Hamilton.
Yeah. Um, what? So this movie has a number of animal sidekicks. We start off with a pig to sell toys, which I can't even remember if they were in the first one. Then after that, you meet the chicken. They were definitely in the first one. And then we pick up some coconut fellas who don't talk, so I'm kind of counting them as an animal sidekick too. It's kind of infuriating how many just non-speaking companions Moana has in this movie. But what are like your top couple of animal sidekicks in movie history?
The best. Okay. Hooch from Turner and
Nice,
Hooch
good
is a
choice.
clear one for me. Shithead from The Jerk. One of like the funniest side characters of all time for me. You got to watch The Jerk.
Hmm.
Donkey from Shrek. Eddie Murphy's just one of the greats. Shout out Sven. I love Frozen. I'm a Frozen truther, and Sven is an animal. Olaf isn't, so I'm leaning Sven here. But
Nice.
I also want to shout out the worst animal sidekick in a movie, which is Richard Parker from Life of Pi. That fucking tiger's just trying to eat him the whole movie.
Yeah, looking back at Life of Pi, it's such an odd, like, it just kind of feels like an anomaly of a movie. I kind of want to rewatch it. I remember the visuals being really cool and the ending kind of falling flat for me.
I was too young to probably appreciate it for all of its greatness or it being an anomaly, but you're kind of right. It feels out of place when you look at all the blockbusters we've reviewed of the last 10, 11 years.
Yeah. I have a couple of great animal sidekicks, bad animal sidekicks for you too. My best are Chewie, obviously, from Star Wars. And I have Pegasus from Hercules. If
Mm,
you remember watching that movie from how God knows how long ago, Hedwig I think needs a shout out here, and Mushu from Mulan I think is also a pretty great animal sidekick. The worst, however, Jar Jar for sure. Callback to Lin Manuel Miranda, Miss Scuttlebutt herself, Aquafina, but the bird form from Little Mermaid. I thought she was awful. And lastly, have you ever heard of a movie called Gooby?
no.
I want you to look this up real quick for me.
Gooby?
Gooby. This is a movie where Hagrid from Harry Potter puts on a bear suit and essentially just like eats a lot of hot dogs and is an asshole to a kid for 2.5 hours. It is.
2009. A lovable monster helps a lonely boy through a rough patch. 20% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I would encourage you to find a recap of it or something. It is so weird, man. Yep, that's
We,
Gooby.
we need admin to put a picture of Gooby on the screen for us. This is fantastic.
That's how you keep the Harry Potter content coming after you're done with the movies on TikTok. You just start the Gooby fan page.
Yep. Fair enough. Fair enough.
But jokes aside, I mean, all of those animals from Moana 2 are realistically just in there to sell toys. Like a couple of them don't even really have any big like laugh moments. They're just like kind of there. And
Um,
so
I quietly enjoyed the ninja coconut for a little bit to myself. I was convinced you were going to introduce me as the coconut that joins the squad, the silent killer.
if I did, would you have done the whole the entire pod in the coconut language? But I mean, this is a total cash grab sequel. We've said nobody wanted it. We've talked about a couple of things that they cheaped out on. This is solely just for money. There's no real heart behind this, and that kind of follows the trend of 2024. This is the year of the cash grab sequel, and just a few I picked out from my list of movies I've seen this year. And some of these I liked. Twisters, for one, loved it. Cash grab sequel. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, loved it. Cash grab sequel. Quiet Place Day One. Strangers Chapter One. Deadpool and Wolverine, whether you like it or not. Smile 2, Beetlejuice, Joker 2, Gladiator 2. Like all of these movies feel like they have no soul.
I'm glad you didn't bring up Furiosa because I do feel like that's still George Miller's baby and like really like took a great care with it.
I agree. No, I would not put that. I think that there are great sequels that exist, and just this year, it's been so sad. I mean, we looked at the pod outlook when in like October or something, and there were like three movies there that weren't just sequels that we didn't really want to watch. It's been
Yeah.
a dire state here.
Yeah, I've like noticed as I try to construct my top 10 of the year, it's kind of tough putting it together to be honest with you. It's a very top heavy year. I have missed a couple movies like The Substance, but I don't know, it's just missing the juice that like a year like 2023 or 2022 had.
I will. I'll tell you what. I was talking about this with my friend Boone the other day, and I found that I have given 7 movies this year 1 out of 10. I've given another three
Wow.
2 out of 10. That is compared to just 3 movies last year that did that. So I wonder if it's just kind of like a we had a great year last year. I think everyone can agree on that. Across the Spider Verse. I mean, so many great movies that I feel like I will continue to go back to. So maybe this is just a little natural regression.
What is a movie from this year that you feel like you will go back to time and time again?
Um, God, I would say Civil War, but that's too hard to rewatch. Heretic, I will, but I realize most people won't. Um, I mean, Dune Part Two, you know that I liked, didn't love. I mean, I don't know. Do any come to mind for you?
Yeah, as far as like replay value, like of course I want to watch Dune Part 2, but it's not one that I plan on watching every 5 months like a Spider-Verse. Maybe Hitman, maybe, but
Mm.
I don't know. Even Challenger is my favorite of the year. Like I plan on watching that again and sharing it with people, but I don't have any like Top Gun Mavericks. I don't have any Across the Spider-Verse. I don't have any Everything Everywhere All at Once. We're missing that one truly above the rest great movie this year.
And it's gonna be Nosferatu.
I don't know if you're being funny, but I think that is going to be the best movie of the year.
I think it's gonna take home more than one Blast Award. I'm really excited for it.
Roger that.
Uh, which, speaking of, we were planning on doing a Nosferatu and Blast Awards joint pod on, I believe, 12:30 it would release, December 30th. Just off the fly here on pod, do you want to push the Blast Awards to January 6th so that we don't have to watch Wolfman?
Sure. Honorable.
Yay!
Bullet dodged. I will say I am really upset we don't get to go see Interstellar. Why is it that
Dude.
only big like metropolitan areas get get to see these re-releases? Like I feel like this would be a slam dunk at smaller theaters like in a local suburb.
It's such a shame, man. And honestly, I will be transparent. I do look forward to talking about Y2K. I think that's going to be a great movie, but I have been looking forward to this Interstellar re release for like 6 months now. It's really disappointing.
Yeah. I got to tell you, I think I'm going to make the trek. It's kind of like the Hans Zimmer live thing. Like I don't know if I'm ever going to get a shot at this. I didn't see it on the big screen and I don't know if they're going to do a re-release for it. So, I think I'm going to give it a spin if I can rally the troops for it.
Hey man, it'd be a fun one. I was looking at our like local theater, the normal theater, to see if they were showing it at all, but it's already started to be kind of Christmas season for them. They're showing It's a Wonderful Life in a couple of weeks, which is cool. But a lot of other like Christmas classics for the next 4 weeks, I guess.
Mm, no dice.
Yeah. Yeah. So Moana 2. I
Great.
mean, what the fuck happened to The Rock, man?
What are you talking about? I mean, he's been on a heater ever since Black Adam.
Yeah, great. You wanna list a couple of those off for me?
Oh, you didn't like Red One?
Did
You
you
didn't
actually
like
see it?
DC Super Pets?
Did you see Red One?
No.
Thank God. Um, Respect earned on your end here. What's crazy is he's making all these stinkers, and I feel like he's still like regarded among Hollywood as like the number one blockbuster guy. Even though everything he's been in, like I can't think of a good rock movie in the last 10 years.
Mm,
Maybe Central Intelligence with Kevin Hart. That was a funny one. I like that.
uh, Journey. What is it? A Race to Witch Mountain? No, that was long
That
ago.
was
Way
yeah,
past 10
like
years.
2010.
God, we're getting old.
Yeah.
Um, Probably not, but he's slated to do a movie with one of the Safdie brothers. He's going to play a wrestler.
Ah,
So I think it's like no, I'm not kidding. Like he's got a bunch of like makeup work done for it. It's not like your standard blockbuster project for The Rock. He's doing something different here. It's out of left field for him.
my big rock related question to you is: do you think The Rock could win the 2028 presidential election?
Does he get to go on Rogan beforehand?
Yes, but on Rogan he has to only speak in lines from Moana and Moana 2.
Well, that's basically how he did it the first time he did a podcast and basically every interview. Like I swear he's just like a guy that speaks in inspirational quotes.
What's
So
the what's the like campaign tagline?
the hierarchy of the United States is about to change.
IMAX. It could be game over.
Oh, come on. You don't want The Rock as president? He gets to bring in like Kevin Hart as VP.
Jesus. Oh my God.
First Lady Gal Gadot.
Is The Rock married?
I have no idea.
Do you think The Rock talks in third person? Do you think Dwayne Johnson like? Because when I asked that question, I imagined him replying, "The Rock is."
Yes, I could see it.
Oh my God.
Have you ever seen the video of Jack Black impersonating him?
No, I have not.
I'll send it to you after the pod. It's during the press tour for Jumanji. It is just hysterical.
um, is The Rock? Do you know if The Rock is slated to be in live action Moana?
I would I have no idea, but I would imagine he's got his paws all over that movie.
What do you think it's gonna look like?
Um I think they're gonna do it exactly like the first one, except no one's gonna be able to take Maui seriously because it's literally The Rock.
Do you think that whole like CGI his tattoos to animate?
Yeah, I do. Or
Yeah,
no, they'll paint him on. They'll go like Killmonger style. I think they would do it.
that'd be cool. I mean,
Oh, but they
like,
got to do the
but
dancing
yeah, he
tattoos.
has to move. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's totally CGI. Puppet work.
there you go. The Rock is. I'm done talking about The Rock. Let's talk
Dude,
Christmas
I was
rom-coms.
waiting for you to cut it out. The
I'm
Rock
sorry.
wants more.